You might stop him, man. I ain't gonna hold you, man.
Canelo Alvarez got one of the best chins.
Yeah, but hey, listen, he ain't been hit by Terence though. Terence can punch, man. You know what I mean? I know he's been in with some of the great punches and all that, but them punches gotta be placed right. You know what I mean? And Terence placed some punches, man.
I can totally see Crawford outboxing Canelo, like bad, making him look like taking him straight to school. But again, I do not see Crawford stopping.
Tension around a possible showdown between Crawford and Canelo continues to rise, as Crawford repeatedly insists that Canelo wouldn't be able to handle him in the ring. Recent developments have only intensified the situation between Terence Crawford and Canelo Alvarez, pushing their rivalry into even more heated territory. Crawford has already begun shaping a strategy that goes beyond boxing, aiming to chip away at Canelo's strong backing among Mexican supporters. Known for his calculated and disciplined style inside the ring, the Nebraska fighter is applying the same mindset to his promotional approach, openly questioning Canelo's position as the leading figure in Mexican boxing.
Lead over Canelo. I got the reach over him. He might got the size, the power. I got the better skills, boxing skills.
Would it be more of a cat and mouse? The reality is Canelo does put people out. From Kirkland to Amir Khan to just...
Don't do
obviously,
I'm just saying, man.
No, but he's not.
In both a literal and symbolic sense, Canelo has long been associated with the Mexican flag. His connection to his heritage is a major part of his identity and public image, helping him build a strong bond with fans from his homeland and elevate his global stardom. He often carries that national pride into the ring, presenting himself as a representative of Mexican boxing tradition and responding strongly to anyone who questions that role. However, Crawford appears to have identified a vulnerability in what was once seen as an unshakable foundation. Over the years, some critics have debated Canelo's standing among the greatest fighters of all time, arguing that while his skills are elite, his career path has also been carefully managed with attention to business decisions and reputation building. This is where Crawford's approach becomes more strategic. He hasn't only focused on Canelo's technique and record, but has also begun targeting the image that has helped define him. His connection with Mexican fans has become part of the discussion, in a way that recalls the psychological tactics used in past rivalries, like Floyd Mayweather's feud with Oscar de la Hoya.
I'm going with Terence Crawford, big weight jump, a dangerous fight, but somebody's got to prove to me that they can break Terence Crawford's will and that he can't figure it out against you. It ain't no disrespect toward Canelo, but I've said this the last couple of years. I'm not betting against Terence Crawford against nobody right now. You got to show me that you.
Crawford's newly released t-shirt collection is clearly designed to speak directly to that target audience, shaping his image as a fighter who is ready to step into any challenge, even when the financial rewards may not always be ideal. This moment plays an important role in the early narrative leading up to the bout, where mental edges and perception battles are formed long before the opening bell. Inside the ring, Crawford is widely known for his constant pressure and his skill in gradually dismantling opponents, both mentally and physically. Now, that same intensity is being carried over into how he promotes the fight outside the ring. The strategy is not without danger, as it risks pushing away some of the supporters he is attempting to influence. At the same time, it reinforces the idea of Crawford as the outsider, a competitor driven by determination and personal motivation. That kind of underdog identity is something he has managed to turn into success multiple times throughout his career.
I've been criticized and people have taken credit away from me just to try to diminish my accomplishments just off of pure hate. So what would they be able to say with me going up 2 weight classes? If Canelo become undisputed again and I beat Canelo, what could they say? They'll say something, but
Despite all the surrounding controversy, the financial stakes of this matchup are massive. Reports from multiple outlets suggest that Canelo could earn as much as $150 million from this fight, a figure that far exceeds anything Crawford has previously made in his career. This level of payout highlights just how significant the bout is for both fighters on a financial level. At the same time, it adds another dimension to the ongoing narrative around it. Some critics argue that Canelo's recent performances suggest a growing emphasis on maximizing earnings, while also maintaining his status as one of the top pound-for-pound fighters in boxing.
I'm up and I'm like, all right, well, Canelo 5'7", you know, my arm's longer.
Yeah.
He's strong, I'm strong.
Right.
You know, it'd be, to me, skill for skill.
Right.
You know, because Canelo not the biggest 168 fighter. So,
Even veteran promoter Bob Arum, who is known for speaking very directly, has also weighed in on the matchup and made it clear he would not personally pay to watch it based on how he views Canelo's recent level of motivation. He explained that while the fight itself would still be interesting if it happens, he doesn't see it as a must-watch event from a financial standpoint. In his view, Canelo's recent performances have shown more of a business-minded approach, and for that reason, he doesn't believe the appeal justifies paying for it out of pocket.
Canelo, there's a lot of talk about that.
I think Canelo wipes the floor with him. I love Crawford. I told you when Crawford and Spence that Crawford would beat the hell out of him, but Canelo is a different proposition. It's an interesting fight, but I think there's only one winner.
What fight would make the most? He wipes the floor with him.
What?
Is it because of the weight difference?
Because Canelo, yeah.
According to this perspective, Canelo is no longer primarily fighting to put on a show for the audience, but rather focusing on securing the biggest possible payday. Still, there is an acknowledgement that if he does engage in the kind of performance Crawford is known for, the matchup could turn into a highly compelling and competitive fight. This viewpoint echoes concerns expressed by a portion of fans who feel that Canelo, once seen as an aggressive and explosive combination puncher with a strong competitive edge, has shifted into a more strategic figure prioritizing financial success and long-term positioning. In contrast, Crawford is often portrayed as a disciplined, no-nonsense competitor who enters the ring with a ruthless mindset, treating each fight as a defining moment in his legacy and approaching every bout with maximum seriousness and intent.
Crawford is very talented, great footwork, great combinations, and a very strong fighter. You know, he, facing him off, he's actually the taller man. So I'm leaning towards Crawford now. I switched my opinion. I think Canelo looked too slow, too flat-footed. One punch at a time. I don't think that's going to be enough for him to beat Crawford. Crawford's too fast, too strong.
Still, there is a major physical challenge at the center of this matchup that cannot be ignored. A lot of discussion has focused on whether Crawford, who has built most of his career competing at lightweight and welterweight, can truly absorb the strength and durability of a natural super middleweight like Canelo. This is not just about adding extra muscle or moving up in weight. It represents a complete shift in how Crawford would need to approach the fight on a physical level.
Should be gone. The notion that Terence Bud Crawford should move up 3 weight classes, 21 pounds, to fight Canelo Alvarez. He's entirely too small. Jamel Charlo.
Amir Khan, who has shared the ring with both Crawford and Canelo, offered a more cautious take on the challenges Crawford would face in this scenario. He pointed out that once a fighter begins moving up in weight to compete against someone like Canelo, preparation becomes much more demanding. In his view, it requires sparring with naturally bigger opponents, which can place significant physical strain on the body during training.
Canelo just outboxes him. Well, no, doesn't outbox him, but I think just outpowers him and beats him to the punch. And you do give Canelo does have some sort of decent speed as well. So I think Canelo just wins that fight easy.
Would it be a knockout?
Could be, but I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. It's hot.
At this stage, the key question becomes Crawford's physical test. He has already shown throughout his career that he can adjust to different boxing styles and overcome a variety of physical challenges. But Canelo presents a different kind of threat altogether as a proven, powerful puncher at the highest level. Even so, the challenge itself may be part of what attracts Crawford to this fight. It represents a high-risk, high-reward scenario that could elevate him into an all-time great conversation if he succeeds, or expose the natural limits of moving up in weight against an elite opponent.
For years, I think Bud would beat Canelo. I think Bud just got the style that outbox Canelo. I seen Canelo get outboxed several times, so I think Bud is the guy.
What did you think when everybody thought Bud was going to lose? When he fought, everybody thought he was going to lose, and he came in pairs. Charlemagne thought he was going to lose. He came in
Not everybody. Mexican boxing legend Julio Cesar Chavez offered a very direct opinion on the matchup. Known for his straightforward and uncompromising analysis of the sport, he made it clear that he does not see Crawford as having realistic chances in this fight. That I end his assessment. The combination of Canelo's size and punching power creates a major imbalance that would be extremely difficult for a naturally smaller fighter like Crawford to overcome. He described it as a very one-sided scenario, suggesting the physical gap between them is too significant. Chavez acknowledged Crawford's talent as a top-tier boxer, but still argued that Canelo operates on a different level in this particular matchup. He also suggested that the fight is being pursued more for financial reasons, and predicted that Canelo would ultimately win by knockout.
Pelea muy dispareja, la verdad. Crawford es un gran peleador, pero no tiene nada que hacer en ese peso. Con todo respeto, él va por el dinero y Canelo lo va a noquear.
The two fighters are going to be different weight classes, even though they're going to fight on a specific weight. He believes that they're just going because of the money, Crawford, but probably Canelo.
That viewpoint is not entirely without justification. Despite the polarized opinions surrounding him, Canelo has established himself as a dominant presence in the super middleweight division. Over time, he has defeated some of boxing's hardest punchers and absorbed punishment that would have likely overwhelmed smaller opponents. His durability is widely recognized, with his ability to take a shot becoming one of his defining traits. Alongside that, his body punching is punishing, and his skill in closing distance while cutting off the ring is considered among the best in the sport.
People that say that Crawford can beat Canelo, no problem. I mean, I respect that. But I just think they're stupid. I mean, excuse my language. The size difference of a bigger man changes everything with one punch. And I can see the same thing. I mean, you saw Canelo Alvarez fighting Amir Khan. Now, look at this. Terence Crawford.
Oscar de la Hoya, a former world champion who later became a promoter and worked closely with Canelo early in his career, has also expressed support for Canelo in this matchup. The D.E. La Hoya, who played a role in guiding Canelo during his rise under the Golden Boy promotion in the 2010s, has pointed to the physical differences between the two fighters as a major factor, even though his relationship with Canelo has been strained in later years.
You know what I'm saying? And Terence Crawford is a legend. He's great. He's a great fighter. The only thing I see that I favor Canelo is that, you know, his weight.
Yeah.
And that he's more bigger. You know what I'm saying? That's the only thing. But as far as skill set wise, IQ, I feel like Crawford can match anybody and probably do way better. You know what I'm saying? But you know, Crawford is a legend, bro.
Yeah.
You know, and
when comparing the overall skill sets of both fighters, many observers acknowledge that Crawford holds the edge in pure technical ability. Even De La Hoya has agreed with that assessment to some extent, while still emphasizing that Canelo brings significant advantages in size and punching power. Echoing similar sentiments, Bob Arum has also suggested that Canelo's physical strength could eventually overwhelm his opponent as the fight progresses. From this perspective, the matchup could begin as a competitive and tactical battle, but gradually shift as the rounds go on.
A good little man has never beaten a good big man in the history of the game, unless you go back to certain situations with Pacquiao beat me, but I was a dead man walking anyway. But a good little man never beats a good big man, so it's a tough test for Crawford, but I'm not counting him out. The bottom line, and this is the truth again, it's a money grab. That's it. Yeah.
Eddie Hearn, a well-known promoter recognized for his candid assessments, offered a more balanced take, but ultimately leaned in favor of Canelo. That he highlighted the physical reality of the matchup, stressing that although Crawford is exceptionally gifted, he is not naturally built for the super middleweight limit of 168 pounds. Hearn also referenced Crawford's performance against Israil Madrimov, noting that even against a naturally smaller and less physically imposing opponent than Canelo, Crawford did not appear fully dominant at 154 pounds.
Crawford going to be able to bridge this weight gap?
Yeah, I don't think he can, in all honesty. I mean, he might not be able to bridge it on Saturday.
Yeah.
So,
one weight class.
68, yeah, but you're coming up from 35. 35, 40, 47, 54. Sooner or later, it's one too many. And 68 is definitely too many. But Crawford's brilliant. Like, he's a genius. He's a generational great. So maybe he can find a way to do it. But I feel he'd be hugely outsized. against Canelo Alvarez. Yeah. But you have to use your movement.
He added that he would slightly favor Canelo in the matchup, also suggesting that a stoppage would be a real possibility if Canelo manages to fully engage in the fight. In his view, the outcome would largely depend on whether Canelo is able to close distance early and impose his physical strength at the same time. He noted that Crawford would likely rely heavily on movement and footwork, a style that Canelo typically does not prefer. Hearn implied that Canelo would be trying to draw his opponent into exchanges at close range, where his power becomes more effective. Overall, his assessment pointed to the idea that Crawford faces clear physical risks, especially as the fight progresses into the later rounds, where differences in size, strength, and durability could become more noticeable.
Canelo's a stronger guy, the bigger guy, but in the fight with a guy that moves around, and if Crawford uses his skills and his legs and his technique and just his ability, I think he can win. He can win the fight in decision as long as he doesn't get hit with the...
Andrade, who has shared the ring with opponents in the same physical range as Canelo, expressed respect for Crawford's skill set, but remained doubtful about his chances against the Mexican star. Speaking to Fight Hub TV, he described Canelo as a strong, relentless competitor who can maintain pressure throughout the entire fight. While he acknowledged Crawford's technical ability, he questioned how effectively Crawford would be able to land clean power shots against Canelo, who he believes is also capable of defensive movement and ring awareness.
No Triple G on Bud's resume. There's no Trout on Bud's resume. There's no Daniel Jacobs on Bud's resume. Canelo is the one that's fought the elite level opposition. It's Canelo that fought Laura. There is no Laura on Bud's resume. There is no Laura on Bud's resume. Bud has never faced a multiple division champ. Bud has never faced a multiple division
elite boxer.
So you're an elite boxer, but you haven't fought.
Andrade's remarks are especially interesting because they highlight one of the most important questions in this matchup: whether Crawford can handle the impact of punches from a naturally bigger fighter. While Crawford is known for his elite reflexes and high-level defensive IQ, he has never faced an opponent who carries the kind of physical strength and punching force that Canelo brings at super middleweight. Because of that, many analysts continue to express concern about the physical gap between them. The debate ultimately centers on whether Crawford's technical skill and ring intelligence will be enough to offset the raw power and size advantage he would be up against in the ring.
Man, it's a great fight for boxing. I know people don't agree with it, but if Canelo fights one inkling of the wrong fight, he's going to lose. If he comes out and fights the right fight, it's going to be a tough one. So right now, I think it's going to be either way, but it depends on what type of fight Canelo fights.
You've been a guy that moved up in weight class. How do you think Terence Crawford should handle the weight? Should he come in lighter? Should he come right around the weight limit?
Come in as big as he can get. If you get to the weight limit, because there is a weight limit.
However, not everyone is counting Crawford out. Sean Porter, a former opponent of Crawford, offered a more optimistic take on the matchup. Having experienced Crawford's intensity and determination firsthand, Porter believes the Nebraska fighter is fully capable of pulling off an upset. Speaking to TalkSport, Porter described Crawford as one of the most competitive athletes he has ever faced. He went on to say that he believes Crawford has what it takes to beat Canelo, suggesting that the timing of the fight could work in both fighters' favor.
2 more weight classes. Like, once he gets touched by Canelo, it's going to be different.
I am concerned about him absorbing a Canelo punch, especially through the course of 12 rounds. We do know this about Canelo. He's going to slow down, so I think if anything, Canelo would try to start fast and bang on him and break him down before he gets later, and he's still got that kind of steam. But, there's so many components that make a champion. There's so many components that make a legend.
This viewpoint approaches the fight from a different angle. It focuses on the idea that Canelo has accumulated significant wear and tear over the course of his long and demanding career. Even though he remains a dominant force, he has also been through numerous physically intense battles and has taken considerable punishment along the way. From this perspective, Crawford's path to victory would depend on surviving the opening rounds and then dragging the fight into the deeper stages, where Canelo's age and accumulated damage could start to influence his performance. If that scenario unfolds, Crawford could find himself in position to pull off one of the most significant upsets in recent boxing memory.
You can see the same tendencies that Canelo has now, but he's a lot older now. But I just think that Terence has more skills than Lara, and I think he can do more. And you're saying that, oh, Canelo is a super strong guy. Man, technique, you already know. If you ever wrestled before, the person that got better technique usually win. It don't matter how much the weight they have or what they're carrying around. It's the technique. Crawford knows how to take care of himself on the inside. He knows how to smother. He knows how to tie up. He knows how to rough guys up. He knows how to turn.
If Terence Crawford manages to defeat Canelo Alvarez, many believe it would likely come through a disciplined, tactical approach rather than an all-out war. Some compare this potential strategy to Floyd Mayweather's 2013 performance against a younger Canelo, built around sharp jabs, constant movement, and strategic clinching to neutralize physical pressure. However, that kind of fight could also produce a slower, more cautious pace that might not meet the expectations of fans hoping for a high-action showdown. Crawford, who is widely respected for his calculated and methodical boxing style, is not typically known for explosive, crowd-pleasing exchanges that at times. His approach has drawn comparisons to fighters like Shakur Stevenson, who are recognized for defensive mastery, though Crawford is generally seen as the more offensively engaged of the two. Unlike aggressive pressure fighters in the 154-pound range or the prime version of Errol Spence before his accident, Crawford's style is more controlled and strategic rather than purely high-volume and power-driven. Even so, supporters argue that his technical intelligence and adaptability give him the tools to rise to the challenge, even against an opponent as physically imposing as Canelo.